than a year and a half into the pandemic, are SMEs in Kenya any better? Taking stock of Kenya revenue efforts to ease pain of importation for small traders. And in the show today, we look at measures being put in place to ensure boda riders do not become COVID-19 super spreaders.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Business Now, looking a lot different than where we usually are. And so we're telling you where we are this afternoon. We're at the Kenya Railways Boma line here in Nairobi, and we're talking about the MSME sector, particularly those who are involved in importing goods. It could be anything: cosmetics, jewelry, electricals, whatever it is that is being imported, that happens here at the Kenya Railways Boma line here in Nairobi. So we'll be speaking about the issues of consolidation. We'll be telling you exactly what that is, the role of KRA, the role of the MSME traders, and they'll be telling you about just how this whole process works, particularly now with many businesses opening up, with the economy opening up, and the MSME traders now saying, we're starting to import our goods. How do they do it? How does a small trader do it? How do they bring in goods in an entire container? They don't. They consolidate, and that's what we'll be telling you about. So we'll be speaking to those who are here, and we'll also have our Dennis Otieno, who's joining us live from Kamkunji, speaking to traders there. We also will be speaking with Faisal Ahmed, who's all the way downtown in Nyamakima today. It's all about the SME traders and the import trade of that sector. Also, to speak about this with me here on the program this afternoon, we'll be taking a look at what is happening here and speaking to traders and, like we said, to KRA that is running this facility. Joseph Karugu, who's the Deputy Commissioner, Revenue and Regional Coordination, will be joining me here for that conversation to talk about that. And then we also have James Kariuki, who's the Chairman of the China-Dubai Traders Group and is an MSME trade expert. That is a conversation we're having on the show this afternoon. Let me invite Bwana Karugu here from the Kenya Revenue Authority. Thank you very much for joining us here on the program tonight, this afternoon. I do a couple of shows in the morning and in the afternoon. Thank you for joining us. So let's talk about this facility here. If you can explain to us what happens here and how MSME traders are able to benefit from what we now know is consolidation.
Thank you, Yvonne, and good afternoon. Today, we are at Kenya Boma line. At Kenya Railways Transit Shed, commonly known as Boma line CFS. This CFS was launched by the President in 2020, September, and the whole purpose of doing this was to create a one-stop center for the SMEs, where they can clear their cargo efficiently. Before this place came into being, all the SMEs in this country could clear their cargo from Mombasa, the CFSs, and with all the challenges that were there. But the President found it necessary for the Kenya Revenue Authority and the Kenya Railways Authority to come together and put up a one-stop facility where our SMEs can collect their cargo from. That is why this place exists today as it is. Thank you.
And that's great to understand, because before traders were having to clear their goods all the way in Mombasa.
Yes.
Okay, but now that happens here.
Yes.
In Nairobi.
Yes.
So tell us then how that process works. Where do the goods come in? How do they arrive? We will talk about the consolidating bit in a moment, but just tell us how the process works here up until the point a trader has cleared his goods and can then start to sell.
Basically what happens, after the trader has bought his cargo in China, it could be Shanghai, it could be Dubai, they hand over that consignment to a consolidator. As you are aware, SMEs are people who cannot afford to bring a whole 40-feet container fully loaded, or even a 20-feet container. So what they normally do, they share the container in what is normally referred to as the cubic meter. They share that container. Everybody has their own space within the container. And after the container is handed over to the ship, to the consolidator in China, that consolidator loads the container onto a vessel, which comes to Mombasa. Immediately that container for Boma line, it is already pre-nominated on the manifest for Boma line clearance, arrives in Mombasa. It is loaded on SGR. But as you are aware, we don't have SGR between Boma line here and ICD. So what happens immediately after that, we do transfer that cargo from the SGR at ICDN to MGR, and it is brought down here to Bomarine CFS. That process takes about 18 hours, and the trader is not even informed. But that is being done seamlessly by both the Kenya Ports Authority, the Kenya Railways, the shipping lines, and even the Kenya Revenue Authority. We do it seamlessly without notifying the traders, and within 18 hours, your cargo is here in Bomarine.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let's bring in Bwana James Kariuki. Please step up. You call yourself the father of consolidation.
Yes.
So for our viewers who maybe might have heard of the concept, might have heard of the term, and I think to all of our viewers, just understand we are in a place that is active. There's the Nairobi commuter rail that is passing by the side. So it's really a great show today where we're out in the open and seeing just how business works. But you call yourself the father of consolidation. So explain to us that concept, because, I might want to bring in cosmetics, clothing, electricals, but as a small trader, I probably don't have the money or even the capacity to fill an entire container. So explain to us the concept of consolidation of goods.
First and foremost, thank you very much for inviting me. I would also take this advantage to congratulate Mr. Karogo for surpassing your targets in the last year.
Thank you.
I would also want to thank you for evolving the way you deal with the SMEs.
Yes.
And we'll continue working together. I'm partially retired from the business, so I'm not here to market myself in terms of consolidation. But basically, consolidation did not start in China. It actually started in Dubai. And when they started up to date, the goods were being measured in terms of the container lines. I'm not sure you're aware of that.
Yes.
A 40-foot container has 43 lines.
Okay.
So the goods would be measured in that line, but that line was a bit controversial. So when we started in China in 2001, we tried to use a more precise tool of measuring the goods. So we brought in the word cubic meter because it's very scientific. Now, the first containers that we shipped in had as many as 60 people in that container.
So before we get to that, so consolidation is basically what as a concept?
It's a concept. Consolidation did not start in Kenya. It actually started in Europe, whereby you'd have maybe 2 companies or 3 companies wishing to import goods from India or China, but they are not able to. They're also SME kind of.
Right.
So they look for ways of how can we share a container, just in the same way that you would say if you cannot fill a matatu or people going on one route, why can't you bring people who are also more or less in the same route? It's more or less that way.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Understood.
Yes.
So this is something has its origins elsewhere. What is your experience with consolidation as it is working here in Kenya?
Consolidation has gone through a lot of tough times. And again, I'll thank Mr. Karo with his organization for also coming up to task and understanding that these are small people. We need to keep them in business so that they're able to feed their children and pay their school fees. There's still a lot that needs to be done. But since we are now on the table and we are talking, I regard myself as an MSME crusader, and not just the importers, even the other people who don't import goods. We see how we can make business smoother and more smooth every day. Yes.
Okay, we will come back to that in a moment and talk about what's working, what can work better.
Yes.
But Bwana Karugu, what's happening behind us? There's a train, we can see some of those units. Just explain to our viewers what this is that's happening behind us at the moment.
Yvonne, what is happening behind us is that we are receiving a consignment of 2 containers, 40-foot containers from ICD. These containers had started their journey yesterday from the port of Mombasa. But as I had told you, it takes about 18 hours to move from Mombasa to this place. They are normally transshipped at ICD from SGR to MGR, and this is done seamlessly without bothering the trader. But again, we also have a mechanism for tracking the movement of these containers. We have a system, the Kenya Railway system, so we can be able to monitor where the containers are at any one time.
I see. So these containers have just arrived.
Yes.
Could you talk to us about then what happens from here? We can see the crane that's coming to pick them up. So just run us through it now that we can see
immediately on arrival, they will just be offloaded. They will be put on the ground. The train most probably will go back with empty containers that had already been stripped earlier. And immediately these containers are brought down. We work jointly together with the consolidators, some traders, Kenya Railways, and Kenya Revenue Authority team to offload and staff the contents in these warehouses that you are seeing behind here. And when we stuff the contents in those containers, in those in the racks,
Yes.
the racks which are here in the warehouse, we normally mark them depending on the importer's details.
Right.
We don't just mix them.
Okay.
We do it in a very orderly way.
And then that is when the traders then come in?
Then the traders start coming in to collect their cargo after the consolidators have paid the taxes, because we are still collecting all the taxes from the consolidator. And the taxes per 40-feet container here is 2.2 million.
Okay.
That is what we have been directed to collect by the president, and that has been arrived at after a mathematical process. It is not just an arbitrary figure.
Right.
And in fact, if you look at the taxes that we are collecting from these traders, they have really grown from what they were collecting before. Again, if I may talk about the benefits of these traders when we do this,
Yes.
when we bring this container to this one-stop place.
Yes.
Before these containers, when they were being cleared in the Mombasa, the traders would not know where their cargo is. They would not know where their cargo is. And again, if in that particular container there is one consignment which has issues like counterfeit issues or it's a prohibited item,
Yes.
we would impound the whole 40-feet
Because I was going to ask about that. But now that is not the case?
Now,
Yeah.
we deal with a consignment per consignment on its own merit.
Okay.
We cannot detain, because that consignment, as you heard from Mr. Karaoke here,
Yes.
it can have about 100 owners.
Okay.
So we treat each and every owner of a consignment on their own merit. So if you have an issue,
Yeah.
and I think we'll be taking time also to take the traders, what are those counterfeit products and other products that should not be imported into the country.
Yes.
You have an issue as an individual with your one carton.
Okay.
But we cannot hold
So
the
not
whole
everybody
container.
has to suffer because of one that might have any issues.
Exactly.
Okay, James, could you speak to us then, about that and about some of those issues? And it's great that we've managed to see, all of that that's happening in action. But then, James, tell us then about, some of the challenges around that. Now we hear that at least if there's one consignment that has an issue, it's dealt with individually. What are some of the other things that you think could work better so that we enhance this process?
I think we may, my suggestion would be we need to revisit the valuation issue.
Yes.
And when I talk about valuation, it's a good system when you say the 2.2 million. But this has brought a new challenge. Right now, most traders are unable to import things like handkerchiefs and baby blankets, because when you calculate the value, when it's done pro rata in terms of the CBM, this system will favor the big boys, the Somalis, the Chinese, who is able to do a whole 40-foot container, based on which Mr. Karu and you can differ, based on your calculation for his duty, will be done on how much he spent in terms of the TT and buying his goods. So his duty might not be 2.2 million, because his goods may not warrant 2.2, and he has maybe only brought one item. So his goods, according to his Mr. Karugu's KRA system and the database, that 40-foot container of handkerchiefs may only cost it may come to maybe 1.5 million, legally. So, and this other, the consolidated container has been paid for 2.2 million. So there's that variance, the difference. I'm not talking about everything. I'm not talking about the very low or low value items. I think the 2.2 is okay, but there are those now low value items. So you find that the Somali traders are able to now sell much lower. When you're doing the wholesale price of the handkerchiefs,
at a more competitive rate than the others.
They can sell the same for 80 shillings, where my traders are selling it for 105.
Right, okay, and we'll come back and talk about maybe how we can solve some of those issues. But, we're talking about what's happening here, but a lot of the goods that actually come here, like you've seen with that container, actually make their way out into the market in places like Kamkunji and Nyamakima around this city, and indeed around the country as well. So Dennis Otieno is joining us live now from Kamkunji with the very traders who most likely will have gotten their goods from here and are now selling them in Kamkunji. Dennis, over to you.
Right, good afternoon to you, Yvonne. We're actually in Kamukunji area, one of the busiest areas within Nairobi's CBD. And this is where we actually got a majority of the small-scale traders, many of who do sell items which have been imported. And as busy as it may seem, we still do have quite a number of businesses here struggling to make ends meet, especially since the government lifted some of the measures that it had put in place to contain the spread of COVID-19. I just have a few of the representatives of the traders here just to tell us how business has been ever since, especially for a better part of this year, seeing that the government had relaxed some of the measures to contain the spread of COVID-19. Thank you very much for joining us for this brief interview. Kindly tell us your name and the traders that you do represent.
My name is Charles Makara. I am from Kamkunji. I'm an official of the Kamkunji business community, and I present most of the businesses here. We have business of shoes, cosmetics, and small items, merchandise, utensils that are normally used at home. Yes.
So clearly, kindly tell us how has business been ever since the government relaxed some of the measures to contain the spread of COVID-19? Are businesses doing well? Are they recovering?
Business is somehow moving up a bit. We can't say that the business is where they were when the curfews were there for a long time, but they are speaking very slowly. And since most of us had faced challenges during the closure, now it is time that we need to move. The business are recovering very slowly. And we are facing challenges of cash flow because of the economic situation, the way it is outside the whole country and the whole world. The challenge of the economy being low is making the business still low. Yeah.
So you talked about businesses picking up slowly. Could the issue of taxes maybe be also compounding this? Because ever since we had the finance bill, we've seen many complain about some of the tax measures. Could this be playing a part?
I'd like to take this opportunity, being an official of our association, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our president through the Interior Cabinet Minister, because they have opened a channel through which, if we face challenges, we go and talk to them with the minister, and him being the coordinator of the ministries, he has been able to assist us most of the time that we have faced challenges. And recently we had a challenge with the taxation of shoes because there was a protocol of East African community that made the shoes taxation to be very high, and then that business was becoming unviable. So what happened is that we talked to them through the channels that have been opened. I know so many things have been said about that the government is bringing up, but we have channels through where we can address the challenges that we face. And you see, challenges have to be addressed through negotiation. Even when the taxation came in, we've been able to negotiate taxation regime that are favorable to our traders. And I think that issue of taxation have been well addressed through the Interior Cabinet, Dr. Matiang'i. And because that is the person we are told that if we have challenges by President Uhuru, we should channel our challenges to him.
All right, thank you very much, Charles. Yvonne, we could also hear from another trader, just to tell us about the challenges they've been facing and also expectations that they do expect.
Okay, my name is Mary Wanjiko. They know me like Sun, S-U-N. That is my name of my mzigo wangu. And then we say thank you kwa government inajaribu kusaidia pia. Economy iko chini, biashara haijakuwa sawa. Since the COVID ingie, tuna struggle sana.
So unauza nini kwanza?
Kwanza nauza utensils, niko na beauty na marimari and electronic. Yeah.
wakati kulikuwa na shida na imports kuja nchini, labda hebu tuambie biashara ilikuwa vipi kwako? Ulifunga? Yes.
2018-2019 kulikuwa na shida ya kuingiza mizigo. It was so tough. Even kama sisi, okay, we operate hata sometimes na loans. Watu walipelekwa sana na loans, and then watu wengi walifunga, but thank God for me, it affect, yes, but not much. Tunaomba serikali tusaidie kama sai wale wako na loans pia wasikimbizwe, because bado biashara iko ndio inarudi sasa. Tunaweza sema ni asante kwa sasa tuko sawa, lakini si sana. And then another issue ni kutoenda China. Unakuta ukituma mzigo, kuna wale hawaleti kwa haraka, unaachwa mkiargue, vitu zingine unaletewa si zero litumana. Unaona kuna wale wako na hizo issue pia wanatumwa vitu si hizo. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Nimeshukuru. All right, Yvonne. Clearly, as you can see, many of the traders here are expressing their sentiments on how business is picking up. And even if that's the case, they still feel that the government should continue supporting them so that they can fully recover from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Yvonne, back to you in studio.
Indeed. Thank you, Dennis, for speaking to those traders. And now you understand the concept of consolidation and how that is helping the SMEs get their goods in that are coming in from import. And we also have some here who have come here to clear their goods. And let's speak to them and what their experience is like. Asanteni sana kwa kujiunga nasi. Please give us your name. Unauza bidhaa gani, and tell us about the process here of clearing. Inaendeleaje? Is it smooth? Labda kuna maneno fulani unataka yarekebishwe. Tell us your name and what you do.
Good afternoon. My name is Stella Moshina. I'm a small-scale trader. I deal with electricals, and I'm located in Nyamakema, Apple Farm Plaza. Company name Stengel Enterprises. Since the government opened Boma line for the small-scale traders, there has been a quicker turnaround from when goods come from China to when they get to our shop. The KRA has facilitated quicker clearing processes, and as you can see, it's very close to our businesses.
Right. So from here, ukibeba bidhaa, unaweza beba hata na mkokoteni.
Yeah, it's so fast. Cheaper, and the clearing, they have made sure that it is fair. There's fair play when it comes to tax paying. It doesn't matter if you're a small importer or a big importer.
Okay. Yes. Okay, and that's interesting to hear with the electricals. Let me speak to you. Ni bidhaa gani unauza, and what was it like kabla Boma line ikwe hapa? Ulikuwa unachukua bidhaa zako kutoka Mombasa. Hebu tuambie, what was that process like compared to vile iko sahi?
Okay, my name is Edward Kairu. I deal with plumbing hardware. Okay. And since we started collecting goods from Boma shed here, the process has been very fast, very efficient, and we also have the advantage of the proximity to the CBD where we operate from. Yeah. So we are very thankful for the government for having brought about this facility here. And the process is super efficient and very fast. So we have got nothing to complain right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Unauza bidhaa zako wapi? Where do you sell your plumbing?
In Nyamakima.
In Nyamakima as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, how long does it take when your cargo gets here, that clearance process? A day, 2 days, hours?
The clearance process, once you have been notified to come and collect your goods, maximum it can take is a day.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you have that. Okay.
And we have
let's pass that on. Tell us about your work, your business. What do you sell? Where?
My name is Kennedy Hingori. I'm located at Du Bois Road. I deal with beauty and cosmetics. So the process so far is good. We can't complain about it because when you are notified, you get the message, you come around, and it's near the town. But also we also have some challenges. As per now, you can't even go to China. For a business, being beauty and cosmetic, it changes with the time. Yeah. Every time it changes. So what we would like to request the government is to open the way so that we can also go there to China they used to go.
Okay.
And Dubai.
Yeah. Where do you get your things from?
I think from China and Dubai.
Yours come from China and Dubai.
Yeah.
Yours are China and Dubai as well? Yours are from Dubai. And where are yours from?
China.
Yours are from China. So far what you're saying is, when you were taking your things from Mombasa, how long did that take? Because he's told us it takes at least a day once you get the notification that your goods zimefika hapa, sindio? But from Mombasa, what was it like?
It depends. It can take longer because you have to... My consolidator, his warehouse was at Ruiru.
Okay.
So before they offload, you go there personally to get the goods. Now here you can just give somebody your ID, go pick my goods, and then he'll come and deliver them wherever you are.
I see. Okay. Thank you so much for speaking to us. And tunatakia kila laheri in all the business that you do. Thank you. And you can see, we can only speak to 3 because of time, but these here are all traders who have been so kind enough to spend the day here with us as we talk about MSME trade and how things are made a lot easier with having this Boma line here. So a lot of them do their work, one in Du Bois Road and one at Nyamakima. So let's go to Nyamakima now and see how things are on the ground, as they say, vitu kwa ground. So our Faisal Ahmed is in Nyamakima speaking to the traders there on what their experience is like with importing goods and if that is made a lot easier by the processes that we now see implemented here. Faisal?
Thank you very much, Yvonne. As you've rightfully said, we are getting some of the views from the traders here. And most of them have actually been, who we have spoken to before we went live about how business has been. Most of them have been complaining about the aftermath or still the effects that they're still reeling from when it comes to the pandemic that has caused. We are here in a shop that actually sells public address systems and audio systems. And for them, it's actually been very hard because, you know, public gatherings were cancelled for the better part of last year and this year as well. So thank you very much. Just explain to us how your business has been affected and maybe what business has been for the last 12-13 months.
Thank you. I'm Reverend Wenyango. I deal with public address systems. Business has been down since the since COVID came in. We deal with the public gathering, the PSO, we sell them to people outside there. But since everything was restricted, there were no many people out there, the gatherings were restricted, it has been so hard on our side. As far as sales is concerned, it has been so dismal. Yeah, so it is a challenge.
Maybe just explain to us by how much have your sales reduced or shrunk over the period?
If I give the percentage, we are now at 40-something%. Yes, because like for example, at this time of the year, we were making a good sales because we are approaching festive season. But as you can see, you are in the shop, there are no clients, even the ones that are doing inquiries, there are no clients. So it is so down.
Okay. And I'm sure you've heard of the Boma line shed by the Kenya Revenue Authority, which makes it easier for small businesses to collect and clear cargo from the port. Maybe have you used this and what has been your experience with the Boma line shed?
Okay, Boma line, I know Boma line. Boma line has made it so easier for importation since we access our products very easy at our own convenience. We don't have to go to Mombasa Road to take our goods. We just cross the road and then we take our goods here. Yes.
And maybe what are some of the improvements that can be done to make it easier for you as the small traders to even make it more efficient or better for you?
We are just requesting the government to lower the taxation rates so that we can make a little profit in what we import, and then it can help us to elevate the small business that we operate. Because when the taxation is so high, you get that we are limited to access more importation. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mungo. Thank you very much. Now, Yvonne, these have been some of the sentiments by some of the traders that we have been speaking to in this particular area, and most of them have actually said that aside from the taxes and also the issue of inconvenience that was caused by the pandemic, the other main issue is actually access to loans, because most small businesses were left out during this period. And now maybe I can just speak to a gentleman who's actually watching us right now. Sorry, yes, thank you very much. Chris, yes. Maybe just explain to us, how has business been over the last 12 months, and how have you benefited as a business from the Boma line shared by KRA?
Okay, business has not been so good. We have a lot of challenges. Customers are complaining. So basically, I bet it also comes with the pandemic, the corona pandemic. So business, not very good.
Yes. And have you tried importing goods using or clearing goods using the Boma line shared by Kenya Revenue Authority?
Honestly, for now we haven't, but we are focusing on that. Our bosses are focusing on that. Very soon we are going to start. Yes.
Thank you very much. I can see you watching Citizen TV. Please continue and stay tuned to Citizen TV. Thank you very much. Yvonne, those are some of the sentiments from the traders here at Nyamakima and also Luthuli Avenue. Just both praising and lamenting about the state of business in the country, and most of them have actually said that, for the ones that we've spoken to off camera, said that they actually used the Boma line shed and it was convenient for them in that they just had to cross the road and there they have their products, use mkokoteni, wheelbarrow, trolley and get them to their shops easily. Yvonne.
Thank you, Faisal Ahmed there. Now, we cannot have this conversation without speaking to the consolidators, who are the ones that put all of these goods together. So please introduce yourself. Tell us about the process of consolidating and how a facility like here at the Boma line has made a bit of that business easier.
My name is Rafael Rionga Kapai. Mimi ni consolidator na hapa nyuma tuko na wenzetu consolidator. We do consolidation in China, Dubai. Tunaweka, tunawaletea mizigo na kutoka consolidator akuwe registered by KRA na Kenya Bureau of Standard. Hii kazi imekuwa ni kazi mzuri, imekuwa game changer na traders sasa wanaenjoy kufanya na consolidator.
So nikuulize, if I wanted to get my goods onto a truck, ni wewe ndio nazungumza naye?
Yes.
It is somebody like you, a consolidator. Yes. So hiyo procedure inaanzaje?
Tunaanza pale Dubai ama China. Unaenda unanunua bidhaa zako, unapeleka kwa warehouse zetu Dubai and China, na sisi tunaangalia kama mzigo umetosha kuload 1x40 container. Tuna load, tunakupatia space yako. Ukifika hapa tunakulipisha through a process we call CBM.
Okay.
Yes.
Na hiyo CBM ni nini kwa wananchi ambao wanatazama?
CBM ni cubic meter ambayo umechukua. Kama vile unajua ushuru tumepatiwa 2.2.
Yes.
For
ya container mzima.
Yeah, for the whole container. Yes. Tunakugawanyia na hiyo gharama zingine tunaweka ndani.
Okay.
Yes.
Haya, asanteni sana kwa hiyo kazi ambayo mnafanya. Na asante kwa kuwa hapa.
Asante.
Na situmalize basi na chairman wa MSME Alliance of Kenya. Bwana Ben, salimia wananchi.
Good afternoon, my fellow traders. My name is Ben Mutahi, and on behalf of traders, Boma line is a game changer whereby the process of clearing our goods has been fastened, and we appreciate the efforts by the government, KRA, Kenya Railways, whereby it has become very easy now to pick our goods from this Boma line, whereby it takes a day for the goods to be at our shops. We appreciate the effort by the government and other stakeholders. To the traders, I wish them well, and I know business is going to boom.
Indeed. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you. And it's really encouraging to see the face of the MSME sector in Kenya. This is it. This is what we talk about on the show every single week, and this is what we focus on. So if this is something you want to get into, now you're starting to get an understanding of the process. This is Business Now, the only show in the country that focuses on the MSME trade and the one that gives you tips on how you can continue to succeed, speak about the challenges and see how those can be addressed. We're taking a break here on the program. When we return, much more also with our guests here at the Kenya Railway Boma line in the CBD of Nairobi. Back in a moment. Good afternoon. afternoon. Welcome back. This is Business Now, focusing on the MSME traders, particularly those involved in import. And we're here at the Kenya Railway Boma line, that is in the CBD. This is where all goods are cleared here, and the traders are then able to pick them up, pay the taxes, and begin trading. Before this facility was put up in September last year, 2020, many of the small traders would have to go all the way to Mombasa to have their goods cleared from there. We've also told you about the process of consolidation, which is where small traders can come together and, sort of rent space in a container, if you think of it in that way, and then pay for that, rather than having the capacity to actually fill an entire container, something that many small traders in the country would not be able to do. We're here with the man who calls himself the father of consolidation. I want to close this discussion with you. Talk to us about, yes, this is a game changer. It, of course, has its challenges. Nothing is perfect in the beginning. What are some of the issues you feel need to be addressed in the consolidation process, in the processes that take place here, that can help traders get their goods faster and that can help them grow their businesses?
Number one, Yvonne, thank you for your question. One of the challenges that has not been addressed today is the cost of demurrage, or rather the cost that shipping lines charge. Yeah. And we feel that we let shipping lines go away with a lot of our dollars. And this is something that can easily be rectified in Parliament or through a Gazette notice, whereby we say that the maximum demurrage you can charge per day is $20, for example. Then we can say that you cannot charge demurrage until that container has stayed for 2 weeks. Because sometimes Mr. Karu and his team may have a challenge. Even sometimes the systems in KRA go down. Mr. Karu wants to help, but he cannot. He has to follow the way the procedure is. So we feel that we need to work on bringing down the cost of shipping. We also feel that Kenya Railways needs to engage us, so that we can see how to help the SMEs, because we want them to grow and bring in more goods. And when the charges are that high and they are charging dollars, really we need to. And Kenya Railways is property of Kenya. It's a taxpayer, Manona. So why can't they give me a special rate so that I can grow my business? Another area that was not covered today is the cost of credit, because now it's very difficult for us to get money from banks. Yes. But the government has its own semi or autonomous bank institutions where money can be diverted, because if you say you've given Equity 100 billion to lend a small fish like James, Equity through one of their directors, Igale, told us, he showed us a chart of how well the economy is doing. So because he doesn't understand the basics of being on the ground. Because when he lends government and government gives him very good interest, he doesn't have to come chasing Kariuki, because Kariuki has not paid his debt. So we need to rethink about credit, because there is scarcity of credit in this country. Another area is that we have been let down a lot is trade. Trade has let down traders. In the first place, the Ministry
of Trade?
Yes. Okay. The three CSs who came in. One was a banker. The second CS was a lawyer. The current CS was a CEO. So none of them has ever even operated a kiosk, a vegetable kiosk. So how do they understand how business works? So they just wake up one day.
Would you be seeking to engage them? Is that
yes, we need to engage them,
you think,
so that they don't. Yes, they don't just wake up one day and say we are banning potatoes. You need to register to sell potatoes, because apart from our SME group, we also have other MSMEs that don't necessarily import goods, and they're also going through very, very many challenges. And as I wind up, I wanted to thank your chairman, SK Macharia, and through you and your producers, for giving us this opportunity to be able to interact together. Thank you for coming down. I didn't believe a beautiful lady would not fear coming down Mashinani. And Karibu Sana, you've seen it's not a bad place.
No.
And we welcome you to come again and again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you so much for having us and for speaking to us about this issue. Bwana Karugu from the Kenya Revenue Authority, you have the final word. So talk to many of the traders who are here in the country about another thing that we're talking about, counterfeits, making sure that they're able to track and trace a lot of the goods that they bring in from the most credible sources. And like we said, let's wait for that. Let's wait for that. Yes, so we're out live in the city. A plane just passed by. So Bwana Karugu, I was asking you to give us your closing remarks about the importance of, helping traders in the manner in which is happening here, but also perhaps sensitizing traders in terms of, counterfeit and making sure that the goods that they're bringing in abide by the laws of Kenya.
Thank you, Yvonne, once again. I think in terms of talking about the traders who are clearing their cargo through this place, Kenya Revenue Authority values these traders, the SMEs, And if you look at the taxes that we have collected from these traders in the last 10 months, we have collected about 1.3 billion. It's not little money coming from the SMEs. And that is why we had the instructions from the management, the Commissioner General, to ensure that any small trader or anybody in this country who is doing legitimate trade to be facilitated to the maximum, and we are not sleeping doing that. And also, again, I would like to bring to the attention of the traders that we have goods that are not allowed in this country, like the counterfeits. What is a counterfeit? A counterfeit is when you take over the intellectual property rights of a blooded item, and that is not allowed. You cannot be allowed to bring those items into this country. So we would not like traders to be cheated. Like now, you cannot bring an iPhone, a counterfeit or a fake iPhone to sell into this country. That cannot be allowed. And as I said earlier, we always inspect the cargo either at source or even locally here to ensure that those goods do not find their way into our country. We know there could be some things happening through our porous borders, but we are working on that. And I would also like to encourage traders, because we are getting information that even after the government put up this facility, we still have SMEs who are bringing in their cargo through other ports in the region and then finding their way into the country. Those ones, we are going to work on them. We will decide on them mercilessly, because the government has given a lot of support to these traders. And as you have heard them say, the inspection fee for a 40-feet container before was about 300,000 Kenya shillings. KEBS today is charging around 30,000 shillings. So with all these savings, in terms of time, in terms of cost, then we should not have an SME going to any other place, but passing through here. Additionally, Yvonne, now that you have given Kenya Revenue Authority this opportunity, let me add this. Today, we have focused on one engine for the SMEs, which is the inward engine, what they can bring in. We are also supporting exports in a big way, and KRA is doing a lot to support our traders who are also exporting. As you are aware, we only export 30% of what we import. Actually, Yvonne, it's very unfortunate, because for every vessel that comes into this region, not just in Kenya, when it brings 100 containers, 70 go back empty, only 30 go back with cargo. And this mostly is the agricultural produce, sometimes maybe no value addition. We would like the informal, what we would call the SMEs to come on board also and take advantage of the export engine. Because right now it is not well exploited. And our country will not grow in any other way.
Absolutely right. And that's a good place to leave it, because indeed we want to make sure that we are increasing and changing that balance scale. We should be exporting more than we are bringing in. So thank you for bringing that up as well as we conclude. I want to thank you both very much. Joseph Karugo is the Deputy Commissioner, Revenue and Regional Coordination. First of all, for your hospitality and allowing us here to see the space and to show it to Kenyans as well, other Kenyan traders, on what happens here. My thanks as well to you, James Kariuki, the Chairman of the China-Dubai Traders Group, explaining to us what consolidation is, understanding that, and my many thanks to the traders who've been here, whom we've spoken to, who have talked to us, the consolidators as well, and to those traders who've been speaking to us from Nyamakima and Kamukunji. So that is where we finish this part of the conversation, and asante sana for that. But, you know, as we do here on the show, we're focusing as well on another sector of the MSME trade, and that is, we will wait for that plane in just a moment. The skies of Nairobi are very busy this afternoon. Hopefully that means more trade for the country. So we were saying that, you know, the border sector is very key and very crucial to the MSME sector, and in fact has played a very big role during the COVID-19 pandemic when a number of shops had to close. And now we want to have a quick conversation with the MasterCard Foundation and the Africa Lion Advisory, who are together conducting training and creating awareness on COVID-19 and promoting safety amongst border riders in the region. Let's now have a conversation with them as they carry on with their training progress that is happening in Ngong area today. Thank you very much for speaking with us. I believe we have Mwangi and Peter who are speaking with us today. If you could speak to us, first of all, about this training and what it entails.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Could you speak to us about the training that is happening and why you've chosen the border traders specifically?
Okay, so we are in Ngong town today doing training for Boda Boda riders about COVID-19 and awareness. Us, we come to Boda Boda's people through ALA training and MasterCard Foundation to educate and put the Boda Boda people in awareness about COVID-19. So we give them reflectors, sanitizers and masks. So for those, they use when they are going around with carrying their passengers for their day-to-day activities.
Okay, and could you speak to us about the importance of Boda Boda riders in Kenya's economy, in sort of the business that you do? Of course, this is a big business. We see Boda Boda riders everywhere. But just how important are you believe, to Kenya's economy, to driving business and trade in the country?
Since the pandemic started, so the Boda Boda was affected because they operate daily business to carry passengers, and there were some restrictions. So for Boda Bodas, their business went down. So us coming in, we came to show them how to do the sanitization for the passengers, for themselves, and wearing mask properly.
Let me rephrase my question. What would this country be without Boda Boda operators? How important are you, do you believe, to this country and the economy and the trade that we do?
Boda Boda is much important in this country because they are small business that run day to day, and for passenger carrying, small errands. Actually, at the time of pandemic, they were used mostly. And that's the importance of them in this country.
All right, and how many Boda Boda traders have you managed to sensitize and train during this program?
In this program, this is second phase. We have done 12,000 and above here in Kenya, in Uganda, and in Rwanda.
And at the end of it, what's your hope? What's your outcome? What do you hope that these Boda Boda operators, what sort of skills or what sort of, in what way do you think this training will benefit them?
The one thing they'll benefit from this program is that at the end of the day, they go home, they'll keep their family safe, and their business will continue because, you know, for the Boda Boda, they are like when they move around, they interact with so many people, and us coming in and giving them the sanitizers, masks, and the reflectors will help them to spread the message to other people around. And thanks to MasterCard Foundation and ALA training.
All right, we want to thank you very much for your time with us here on Business Now. That's an Africa Lion advisory trainer, and that is a program that's in a partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, sensitizing and training Boda Boda operators who have increasingly played an even bigger role, particularly with SMEs in transporting goods and facilitating deliveries at a time when movement was heavily restricted, at a time when many traders had closed shop but still needed for a moment to be able to link them up with their respective customers. Let's speak to someone else on this issue. Talk to us about this training and why it's important. We have another trainer to speak with on this issue.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, this is Peter Wanjie. A Boda Boda operator from Gong. And also a beneficiary of the same. And I'd like to thank the ALA Foundation and MasterCard Foundation for the training they are offering to us. And as a border operator, I'm grateful because I'm being made aware of the things that are evolving around the pandemic, the spread of the virus, and also how I have to protect myself against it. So if you look at me right now, I have been awarded with a refractor after the training. I also have my masks, and also I have my sanitizer, of which I'm being advised or I've been trained on how I can wear my mask properly, how I should sanitize, and also how I should protect me, my family, and also the passengers that I'm getting on board.
All right, thanks. Peter, hebu tuelezee umuhimu wa bodaboda na biashara ambayo mnafanya hapa Kenya katika kusaidia watu kufanya biashara zao.
Yes.
Peter, unanisikia?
Yeah, nakusikia. Pardon?
Peter, nilikuwa nauliza hili swali, manake wewe ni mwana bodaboda. Hebu tueleze hii umuhimu wa biashara yenu katika uchumi wa Kenya.
Katika uchumi wa Kenya tuseme, as a border operator, I'm able to, okay, there are the taxes that we pay. We also have, at least we have things that we consume as the border operators. Like if you look at the taxes ongoing with the things that we buy, the spare parts, in terms of getting fuel. So as per the economy of the country, for the border operators, we really, or I can say the sector itself really makes a great impact on the economy of Kenya.
Thank you very much, Peter, for speaking to us, and good luck with that training. Asante sana for the work that you do, and we will consider having a conversation about the border sector in the country. As you know, Business Now focusing on the MSME sector and seeing exactly what drives this economy of Kenya. I want to thank all of you for watching, for your feedback, and special thanks to Kenya Railways and the KRA for hosting us here at the Kenya Railway Boma Line. We've been speaking about consolidation. This is where traders can come and get their goods offloaded in a much quicker process. And so you're starting to see right here on the ground how things are really operating in the country. Thank you very much for watching Business Now this afternoon, and we hope to be out here in the open once again sometime soon. Have a very good afternoon. I'm Yvonne Okwara Matola.